tonight.
Questions tonight over a snag in the new pay parking system unveiled by the city. A crowded meeting over a plan to bring low-risk youth offenders to a Buena Vista neighborhood facility. And in sports, the PA Raiders look to extend their winning streak and keep their playoff hopes alive.
You're watching CTV News.
Good evening. Well, it's supposed to make things easier for you to pay for parking in Saskatoon, but CTV has discovered questions about the new flex parking system that makes it seem, well, not flexible at all. Our Matt Young tested the new pay stations today and found a snag in the system, though the city doesn't exactly see it that way.
CTV conducted a random test of the new parking meters here on First. Saskatoon.
Dozens of people who live in the Buena Vista neighborhood of Saskatoon packed a room at the Kilburn Hall Youth Centre tonight over concerns about moving some low-risk young offenders there. Residents met with correction officials inside the facility, which is a secure custody youth facility. Now the plan is to move low-risk young offenders from the Yarrow Youth Farm, which the government says is underutilized. Yarrow operates a minimum security facility, so inmates there are regularly allowed to leave to go to school or community work. Some in this neighborhood, though, believe those low-risk offenders would be more likely to run away if they were already in the city. By the way, TV cameras were not allowed inside the meeting. Well, the mayor is unmoved. Don Atchison insists there's no need for dedicated bike lanes in Saskatoon, at least not yet. A City Hall committee has recommended bike lanes be installed on 23rd Street this summer. The protected lanes would run from Idlewild Drive to Spadina Crescent on 23rd. It's also suggesting bike lanes on 4th Avenue, but that won't happen this year. The cost of the pilot project would be $225,000, but Mayor Don Atchison told CTV Morning Live the city should not be spending any money on bike lanes right now.
Well, I want you to know, first of all, I'm in favor of bike lanes. I love bikes. Mardell and I have bikes and that. But, you know, we have priorities. And we need a lot more work done on the MVA trail. It's overcrowded. It's overcongested today. We need to widen it. We need to make it larger. We've got a lot of the areas in the city, for example, the university, where a lot of students are taking bikes, high school students. I think we need to be looking after those areas, first of all, before we're moving into other areas.
So the mayor will have a chance to present his argument again when City Council debates the recommendation from the Transportation Committee. That will take place in 2 weeks. Last night in our web poll, we asked, do you think bike lanes should be a priority for the city of Saskatoon? Of about 3/4 of you said no, 26% said yes. It took Saskatoon fire crews about half an hour to put out a fire in a commercial building on Melville Street this afternoon. Crews arrived to find smoke coming from an open overhead door in the roof of the structure. The fire started in a paint booth and spread through the venting to the roof. The cause is still under investigation. Well, it was an icy morning, leaving some slick conditions on streets right across Saskatoon. And our slippery roads likely contributed to a truck veering into a sound wall on Warman Road. 2 lanes were closed while Saskatoon Police and Fire Department were on the scene. There were no injuries, but the driver of the truck was issued a ticket. So the provincial budget will be released 1 week from tomorrow, but already we're getting an idea of what it will look like and where the axe will fall. The first to be hit is the Saskatchewan Transportation Company. Wayne Mantika finds out if it's a sign of what's to come.
Trudy Erickson is waiting for the bus to take her home to Saskatoon. Not only has the fare increased by 4%,
bracing for what's ahead. And
when we look at taxation for that, we're really creating a burden for people.
Taxing Talk, the petition to get some products exempt.
This is CTV News with Rob McDonald and Chantal Huber.
Good evening. The Farnham Block on Broadway, it would seem, is running out of time.
The century-old building is facing the wrecking ball despite attempts to save it. Colin Thomas joins us live from Broadway Avenue this evening. Colin, there was a group that was hoping to save the Farnham. That obviously is not working out.
Well, there was a meeting that was held today between the current owners and an investor group that was hoping to purchase the Farnham Block and presumably restore it and eventually save the Farnham Block. In fact, we have Sterling Summick, who is one of the members of this investors group that was trying to save the Farnham Block. You were at the meeting today with the current owners. Sterling, what happened?
Yeah, that's correct. We had a really good meeting with them in the way of lots of communication information was shared. Right now, it looks like we're at odds on the price that they would require to get out of the building. Unfortunately, as with anything that's not technically for sale, there's always going to be those issues. So that's the kind of roadblock we've hit right now. So
financially, you couldn't make it work. So does that mean the building's coming down?
Well, we were able to put together a sizable amount of money, but for what they require financially, it looks at this point like it won't. We basically have till tomorrow, sometime mid-morning, if we can put together anything that comes closer to what they're looking for. At this point, given kind of the information from what we know, they were very forthright and forward with sharing with what they know about it as well. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do it. We're going to try, but I'm not going to say no until tomorrow.
How are you feeling about this? You put a lot of effort into this, and I guess it's not looking good for this building. I mean, looking at it right now, it looks like it's about to come down.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good feeling. From the standpoint of business, we do understand what they're doing. We don't want to make them look like a villain or anything. I'm a business person myself, and so, but it's sad to see the history and the heritage disappear. However, that being said, the one good thing that has come out of this is it's kind of waking everybody up, and we know that we need to focus on this more before this 11th hour comes along. Okay. So,
Sterling, thanks very much for joining us here on Broadway.
Thanks so much.
I also might want to add that saving the Farnham Block, there was a 500 signatures, was on an online petition, and a Patty McGillivray from the Saskatoon Heritage Society expressed her disappointment today on Facebook, saying it's going to be a great loss for the city of Saskatoon. Rob and Chantel?
All right, changing times on Broadway Avenue. Thank you, Colin. And another Saskatoon landmark met the bulldozer today. The Parrish and Heimbecker elevator at Avenue N and 18th Street is being demolished. The elevator has been part of the Saskatoon skyline since 1910. It was one of the earliest and largest processing facilities